Welcome back to Toxic Waste of Time. I'm Katie.
And I'm Ivy. This week, we're talking about our relationships with online dating. But I don't really have a relationship with online dating, or dating in general. And usually for these episodes, I do a lot of research with stats and shit. And I have a few for this topic, but we have Katie, who has been in the trenches, boots on the ground, doing hands-on research for over 15 years. God. And I'm ready to learn a lot from our resident expert and my co-host, Katie.
Yeah, girl. I don't know if hands-on is the right phrase. I feel like I did not have my hands on all of these people, nor did they have their hands on me. But I do have a lot of experience in dating, specifically through online apps. Boy, so that's right. After dating every single man in my city and well beyond, and some who weren't even actually single, I finally met my person. And yep, I met him online. But I'd still say that my relationship with the idea of online dating is, complicated. It's a lot of information, and with Ivy basically interviewing me this time, this is going to be a 2-part episode for sure. So strap in. We're going to give you the first half this time, and the next half next time. That's how that works.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us.
But first, let's do a little icebreaker. Katie, can you spin the wheel?
I can.
Sports. What's your relationship with sports, Katie?
Sports are boring and not for me.
Same.
I've never been athletic. I've never really wanted to be athletic. I was an ice skater. That is a sport.
Oh.
I did figure skating when I was little. And I think I was talking about dance a lot when we were during the high heels icebreaker.
Uh-huh.
But the reason I was doing dance and sort of intermittently was because I was skating, and dance goes along with that. So I had skating experience, but less dance experience. And so, so I did figure skating. That was really fun, but it was expensive.
Yeah.
And I reached a point where I was going to have to start getting up and going to the rink before school. And I didn't want to do that.
Nah.
So we didn't. I also played volleyball in middle school and in high school a little bit, but I wasn't even on the school team. It was a community center team or, just kind of for funsies. But that is it. I really just don't care for sports. I'll watch the Olympics. I will watch football with my husband if he is excited about it. And sometimes that can be fun. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I don't really care.
Well,
how about you?
I have a little different relationship with sports. I'm not a fan of sports.
Yeah.
I have never had my chosen sport. When I was in school, I did everything and anything I could to get out of sports-related anything. I think I talked about on another episode, maybe back when we were Bad Boss Detox, about my dad writing a note to my gym teacher to get me out of playing volleyball so I wouldn't break a nail before a modeling photo shoot.
I don't think I remember that story.
No?
That's hilarious.
So I did not want to play volleyball. And I told my dad I did not want to play volleyball, and he wrote a note to Coach Stratton saying that I had a photo shoot and I couldn't break a fingernail, and so I needed to sit out. Of course, she made me walk, I had to walk around the gym the whole time, and rumor has it that she kept that note on her bulletin board until she retired.
That's silly.
And I don't like to watch sports. My little brother, he's 6'11", so but he played basketball. He is little. He's my little brother. He's 5 years younger than me, so he's always going to be my little brother. But he played, he has a championship ring from the University of Kentucky. He played professional ball in Sweden. He could have done a lot better if he hadn't married his first wife, the life ruiner. But
oh boy.
Yeah. So, but my husband, oh my God, with the sports. Football is currently my life, and then it'll be NASCAR again. And in between all of that, we have wrestling. He does not like basketball. He used to watch hockey, but we have not watched hockey in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't want to watch any of that.
Yeah. I will say I don't mind watching sports if it's like an exciting game. I like the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed watching the USA basketball team in the Olympics past whenever that was. That was cool just because they're all so good,
Olympic sports are a little different, though, than watching team competitive sports.
I agree. Because it's everybody's, obviously professional athletes are at the top of their game, but like the Olympic team is even more at the top of their game, I would say. Because it's like out of the NBA, you only get so many players to even be on the Olympic team.
Right.
So I think it's fun. Sean has a thing about sports that are like, he's calling them like non-sports. Like if it's horseback riding, he does not think is a sport because it's the horse doing the work.
That's not true.
And I disagree completely.
Yeah,
yes.
That's not true.
Because training the horse and communicating with the horse and making it do the things you need it to do in the right time, it is definitely a skill that
it is definitely a skill. That's what, my best friend does.
Trains horses and
stuff? He trains horses, yeah. So,
okay. Yeah, cool.
And I can say that watching someone ride a horse, it looks a lot easier than it actually is when you get your ass up on that horse.
I forgot I also did horseback riding, and I have a story about it if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Okay, so my being an only child and kind of spoiled, I was allowed to try anything I wanted, any extracurricular activities. And I tried horseback riding because I love animals and I do love horses. I did determine, though, that the sport was not for me because I went to this particular horseback riding camp where at the end of the day, you had to clean your horse and put it away. And I was like, gross.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick horse shit out of my horse's hooves. No. At the end of the camp, we had sort of a little rodeo that was like a, exhibition of our skills we had gained. My horse was named Apache, and he had to be 1,000,000 years old.
Oh.
He had a sway back.
Yeah.
He was just an old-ass horse. Mm-hmm. And they let me have him because I was a beginner, and they were like, he's sweet. He'll do whatever you ask him. He's not going to cause a problem. And I was barrel racing on this horse. And someone in the audience on a perfectly clear sunny day decided to open an umbrella, and it spooked Apache.
Like the sound of it?
I think it was just suddenly visual large shape opening scared the horse. And he reared up with me on his back. He bucked. He freaked out. Not something you expect a super old horse to do. And I held on. Because I'm not jumping off of this horse. Like I just didn't, you never know. Like horses can be really dangerous. And so I held on and I got last place in the barrel race, but everyone was like, I'm so impressed you didn't fall off. And I'm like, yeah, I was fighting for my life, dude. Like,
yeah. The last thing I ever want to do is fall off of a horse.
Exactly.
When
because
John and
they'll step on you, you never know.
When John and I went to, we rode horses on the beach a couple of trips ago, and he told me as we were pulling into the place, he was like, I've never ridden a horse. And I was like, what? And he was like, yep, that's our story. I've never ridden a horse.
Okay.
And he was like, because I don't need any of these people to look to me for anything. He was like, so I don't have experience with horseback
He didn't
riding.
Want to be bothered.
And one of those horses reared up, and some old lady fell off that horse before we even took off. And he stuck to his story. He turned around and he was like, yep, not helping with that. Because he did not need to be called. She was fine. She did.
Yeah.
Her family opted to not go on the ride, but she was fine.
Yeah. Wow.
But Sean is wrong. And horseback riding is definitely a sport.
It is definitely a sport. I think maybe he's like, they should give the horse the medal.
Okay.
But, like, they kind of do. The horse gets all the awards and stuff. So, anyway. So, sports, I could take them or leave them. But I have a broader definition of what is a sport than my husband does, I think.
I think I'd rather
also loves
physically
wrestling.
go to a game than sit and watch it on TV.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you're high enough, football and NASCAR announcers are hilarious.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Football is so dirty. And NASCAR is so redneck. So it's just, and my husband will disagree because now it's no longer a redneck sport because everybody's a fucking millionaire, blah, blah, blah. But they're still country and they still talk funny and it's still somewhat enjoyable.
Oh, you can be a rich redneck.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sports, non-toxic, toxic-ish, or a toxic waste of time.
You know, that's a hard question for me to answer because I believe... Here's another thing I didn't mention. I resent sports a little bit because they take away so much funding in schools from the arts. And the way that they're represented is just like they're way more valuable than the arts, and that's bullshit. And so as a teacher, I saw that happen firsthand, and I saw kids that would join my theater program and be amazing and talented, and then they would quit to join the football team, or they would quit to join the cheerleaders. And I was like, fuck, you know?
I think they're definitely
valuable.
Toxic.
Yeah, it's not that sports are not valuable. It's that they tend to be overhyped.
Yeah.
And the skills you learn from sports are similar in a lot of ways to the skills you might learn in the arts in a cooperative thing like theater. But it's going to be a different experience. And I had, you know what, shout out to my friend Carrie and her son, because he told me he was one of those kids. He quit theater to do football. And he later told me that he wished he hadn't because the kids in theater were so much kinder and accepting and more friendly. And like they made him feel included, you know, whereas the kids he met through sports were just pretty much like out for themselves and really competitive and maybe a little toxic. So I think it depends. Of course, sports can be a positive experience, but it should not be like more important than the arts, you know?
Agreed. I don't think that sports are a toxic waste of time, but I do think they're toxic-ish.
Yeah, because that's kind of where I think I land.
There's a lot of problems with sports, a lot of problems with money, a lot of problems with injuries, a lot of problems with ego.
Well, all of that could be said for performing arts as well.
100%.
Yeah.
But in my experience, having been a human being in high school at one point, theater kids were nicer, easier to deal with, easier to get along with, less... Judgmental, yeah. Yeah, that's my personal experience.
Yeah. I had a similar experience. And yes, there was toxicity in the arts and there was toxicity, but particularly between the other girls that I was competing with for roles and stuff. But I would say in general, like the theater people culture is very inclusive and accepting.
So now,
yes.
Before we delve into the story of the woman who dated every man on the internet,
oh God,
let's get a little background here on online dating. Turns out, the guy who started it all, the self-proclaimed geek in glasses and button-downs who got dumped while studying for his doctorate, Andrew Conru, created web personals in 1993 because he couldn't fit everything in the little box provided in the newspaper personals. He now boasts having been in multiple threesomes on his own dating profiles. That guy is still using online dating services. These days, Andrew graciously gives all the glory to the guy who created Match.com just 2 years later as being the actual first dating website creator.
That's funny.
Andrew went on to create FriendFinder.com as well as AdultFriendFinder.com for the hornier folk. Actually using, hey, if you're looking to get laid, click here. So,
yeah,
under his umbrella company, Friend Finder Networks, he also owns Asia Friend Finder, seniorfriendfinder.com, and the Christian dating site bigchurch.com, as well as the BDSM dating site alt.com. In a nutshell, a kid who got started on a farm in Indiana writing code for Bible quiz games on his Commodore VIC-20 when he wasn't going door to door trying to be an evangelist, somehow grew up to be the porn baron of Palo Alto. And one last note about the guy who basically is the reason for Katie's wedded bliss. My favorite little tidbit: Andrew Conru once hired a homeless guy who was sleeping outside his office to answer customer service calls, and he let him sleep under his desk. And that guy married a coworker and moved to Denver. But Conru himself, still no luck. Or all the luck, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I think that's really funny to me. Like, so it sounds like he just wants to be a bachelor, and that's cool. Good for you, dog.
Likes
if that's
getting
what you
all
want.
the threesomes.
You know, if that's what you're into, more power to you. It's all consensual and all of that. Whatever, bruh. But if so this reminds me of the Ren Fair guy. I don't know if you've seen, there's a documentary, I think it's just called Ren Fair, that is about this guy. He's in his 90s and he owns the biggest Ren Fair in Texas. And he's super, super rich. He's built a castle on his property and shit. And he is still looking for his lifelong partner.
Aww.
But he only dates women who are like in their 20s or 30s, maybe their 40s at the oldest. And they have to have like a long list of qualifications. No plastic surgery, no fake tits. They have to, basically do whatever he wants them to do and not use condoms.
And he's in his 90s.
That's like a red flag if they use condoms for him. He did pass away on May 21st of 2025, according to Wikipedia.
Who'd he leave his fortune to? Which one of those girls?
I don't know. His name is George C. Coulomb.
Okay.
He was 88 when he passed, so he was not quite 90.
Okay.
Does it have spouse? It does not have spouse. I don't think he ever married. So, yeah. Anyways, if you're into Ren Fair stuff, we can talk about him another time.
I think if you're in your 80s and 90s and you're still looking for your forever person, that's...
Yeah, I feel like you maybe have too high of a standard.
Yeah, there's such a thing
too
as...
stupid of a standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I promise you, that was not my problem when I was online dating for 15 years. It was a different problem.
Okay.
So,
I'm sure we'll get to that. So I guess we start at the beginning, huh? Katie,
yeah.
How, when, and why did you start dating online?
Well, okay. So I think I've mentioned that beyond high school, I really only had one significant relationship with a guy that I met through real life circumstances. I met him. We were both cast in a play together, and that's how I met him. The rest of my boyfriends were all originally online dates, so I met them online in some way. The first one was in college. I met my first serious boyfriend, I think, through AOL Instant Messenger, which is not even a site or whatever. I think it was just like you could have a little profile and you could search for people near you, I think.
And just chat with strangers.
And just chat with whoever was nearby and whatever, which seems super dangerous for teenagers, but that was the internet back then. But I wasn't familiar with any dating sites at the time, and apps weren't a thing, so that's when and how, sort of.
Okay.
So that would have been like 2003 or 4, maybe. Yeah. But being an only child and a dork, dating was hard for me. I never felt confident in my looks or my social skills as a teen. And even if guys were flirting with me, I sort of dismissed it. Like they had to be joking or they had just lost a bet or something. And I just didn't believe that they were flirting with me.
I mean, girl, I think that most teenage girls.
I think you're probably right, but I think it lasted longer than it should have for me, that phase.
Same, I think. I mean, I know that was me in junior high, and I felt like
Yeah.
all the boys were looking straight through me, and I'd never get a boyfriend, and I never was super popular with the boys.
Yeah. See, that shocks me because listeners, you need to know that Ivy is a hot redhead. And no, don't laugh. It's true.
Apparently terrifying, though.
You may have been so intimidating because you're so hot and confident and,
That's what they
take
all
no
said.
bullshit.
Yeah,
It's probably-
intimidating, scary.
I've been called intimidating too, and I don't know what that really means. Like, is it intimidating for a woman to have regular confidence? Is it intimidating for me to have the same level of confidence as a mediocre white man?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it shouldn't be.
I think so.
It shouldn't be. My boss told me that one time that I was intimidating, and I was like, really? Are you just calling me a bitch? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I wish that someone had mentioned resting bitch face in the 80s, because that was me.
Yeah.
I just happened to have a resting bitch face and didn't know that was a thing until, 10 years ago.
See, I think I have resting nice girl face. And people will ask me for directions. Strangers will come talk to me. I guess. So how can I be intimidating then?
I don't know. Children are not intimidated by me. The children have always
either.
come to me and told me their problems and their secrets and their stories.
Children can smell it on me that I was a teacher.
It's just boys, teenage and beyond boys that.
Sounds like their problem.
It is. It's definitely their problem. It's not my problem.
Yeah. Well, anyway, my therapist heard all about that, so don't worry about it. I've worked through it. Clearly,
Good.
I have more confidence than I even need at this point. But dating is hard in general, right? And in school, at least, having a boyfriend seemed to be the only thing that was important. It was the scale on which you were judged.
Yep.
At least that's how I felt. But anyway, that first relationship, the guy that I met on AOL, it was about as toxic as they come. And it did not help my confidence issues one bit. In fact, I felt like I came out of it with a lot of trauma, and it made things even harder. So fuck that dude.
Yeah, fuck
We're
that
not
guy.
going to talk about him anymore because fuck him. Not wasting any more valuable seconds of my life on him. But after that, I graduated college and started working as an elementary school teacher. And how does an elementary school teacher meet guys? Not at work, that's for sure.
Did you happen to see the viral video of the elementary school teacher asking the other elementary school teacher to marry him in front of the class that was spreading the rumors that Mr. So-and-so and Miss So-and-so were dating?
I think I did. And did they get married in her classroom?
I don't know, but it was
That's
so
kind
cute
of-
because the girl, the teacher that he was dating didn't expect him to ask her to marry him in front of the class. They were just
I guess
addressing
not.
they were just addressing the rumors, and when he was like, I actually
Yeah.
love Miss So and so, and the whole class went crazy, she started crying, and he was
Oh my
like,
God.
as a matter of fact, I want to marry her. And they were like,
I would have died of embarrassment.
Right.
I hope that they're happy, but that is not the way for me. I did not want it to be a public thing at all.
no.
Anyway, yeah. Where was I? Yeah, I couldn't find guys at work because there was one male teacher at my school and he was married. And if there were any hot single dads, well, that would have been unethical for me to even think about. And girl, there were some hot single dads. Oh, there was one I forgot to tell you about. There was one that he would walk into school and drop his kid off and all the teachers would come out of their classroom and pretend that we needed to be in the hallway for some reason.
Nice.
And just watch him walk by like McDreamy. It was pretty funny.
I mean, we became friends with one of our kids' teachers. I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, but our school district didn't even want us to have Facebook. So if I had been dating a parent, they would have definitely fired me. Yeah. So that wasn't the way to do it. And what does a single girl do? Go out and hit the bar? Well, not when I have to get up at 5 a.m. So maybe go to church and try to meet a nice, godly young man? No.
Hard
don't do that.
no.
No, hard pass. I saw a commercial on TV and I joined eHarmony. And thus began a 15-year journey through hell. I mean, online dating. Hell. Yeah, same thing. So before I get into it all, tell me what your notions are about online dating sites and apps. And what are your thoughts on the whole thing, Ivy? Because I know that you're kind of looking in from the outside, right?
Katie, have you ever seen Fiddler on the Roof?
Of course.
I can't stop with the matchmaker, make me a match. I think matchmaking actually predates Jesus. The internet,
probably.
Yeah, the internet just stole their jobs. Finding the right person to spend your life with and raise a family or not is a science. So why the fuck not enter data and see matches? I heard someone somewhere say something recently about data match. Do you remember data match? It was more in your time frame than mine.
Yes, I do.
So
go on.
that was after my time, just a little bit. It was like in 1994, 95. But apparently we did something a little less high tech when I was in high school. You paid $1 to find your best match. And in the 80s, this info would be sorted and entered manually. But the 90s brought data match, which used punch tape, and it would feed into the computer for quicker results.
Yeah, and it had the little tear-off holes on the side of the paper. So satisfying. I used to love like ripping those off and playing with those. But yes, I did this in high school. And I remember that a lot of people told me that I was on everybody's matches. But the handful that they listed on my sheet, I remember thinking they were all duds. And I was like, ew, I don't want to even talk to them.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I don't remember anything about it because memory is not a thing I have.
It was like a Valentine's Day thing, I think. They did like
it was Valentine's Day. That's what I read.
Yeah.
Then we also had video dating services like Great Expectations or Matchmaker, where you saw a commercial, probably late at night. You called now for your information packet, which was then mailed to you in the mail. Then
remember the mail.
Yeah, right. And then once you got all your paperwork filled out, you go into their offices and record your videotape. And then you sit at a little cubby with headphones and a big fat monitor to watch videos that you had chosen from a binder that you flipped through.
So you're still swiping.
Right.
You're just swiping a physical binder.
Absolutely. Just with a physical binder. That's probably where they came up with swipe left. So I am all for it. Although I do think there is something special about randomly meeting someone or being set up by someone who really knows both of you. Unless his name is Marty Martinson and the only photos you are shown are of him sitting down, which was my one and only blind date.
Okay, I need to know about Marty. We need to hear about Marty.
Okay, so
Marty Martinson?
Marty or Stevie Stevens or Robbie Robertson. I think it was Marty Martinson.
Williamson.
Yeah, Willie Williamson, all of these things. So my friend Kim had a boyfriend, and she always had a boyfriend, and I didn't have a boyfriend. So she had this friend, and in the 80s there was this trend of boys having their picture taken holding their electric guitar in their lap.
Right. Yeah, because holding a guitar makes you at least 10% hotter. Period.
Well, it proves that you play the guitar, right?
Or at least you can hold one.
So, no, I think it proves you play the guitar. I think they brought those with you, and they're like, dude, you want to get bitches? Put this guitar in your lap.
You want to get bitches?
So, anyway, Kim and her boyfriend decide to fix me up with this guy. She shows me this picture of him. He's okay. He's sitting in a chair. He's holding his blue electric guitar. Stan Head had a blue electric guitar, so I'll try it.
Yeah.
Katie, when I tell you that my dad actually laughed at this poor kid when he opened the front door.
Oh, no. Marty.
He was wearing a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt, and he had his hair poofed up at least 3 inches high on his head to give him some height. Now, I married a short guy. My crushes were always short guys. I don't have an aversion to short guys, but
He loves a short king.
Don't want you to try to make yourself look tall by poofing up your hair like the freaking romantics in the 1980s. Don't do that. So I don't know, maybe we went to a movie or something, but I remember he took me to the mall and I continuously smoked cigarettes because he kept trying to hold my hand. So I just kept a cigarette in my hand like the whole time, because back then you could walk around the mall and smoke cigarettes and your parents didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
then he asked me, did I want to go park?
Bro. Just all right, shoot your shot.
So instead, I said, no, I want to go where Kim is with her boyfriend and cockblock because they did this to me. So guess what? I'm going to go be a third wheel. And he dropped me off at Kim's boyfriend's house where I stayed.
My God. Marty. The Mickey Mouse shirt was a little bit of a clue to me. I don't know. I can't with Disney adults.
Well, he was not an adult, but he was also not a child.
Maybe too old for yeah.
And I probably also, like, I had an outfit that I wore in the 9th grade, I remember, that was a tank top that had a little Mickey Mouse on it. But it was just like a boy driving a car to come pick me up. Put on something other than a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt.
Yeah, try a little bit. He thought the hair would make up for it, I guess. The hair sounds like it was coiffed.
I think he spent so much time on his hair, and then he looked down and he was like, I'm still wearing this Mickey Mouse sweatshirt, but if I take it off, I'm going to mess up my hair.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to keep the Mickey Mouse sweatshirt on.
Damn. Marty, you blew it. You blew it. Oh, okay. Well, all right. So do you know anything about eHarmony, Ivy?
I've heard of eHarmony, but the only experience I have is with one dating website, and I could not even tell you which one it was that Crazy Train tried to force me to do for her.
Oh, Lord.
I was looking it up to see if I could find it, and I found 2 emails from her regarding the demands that I set up and maintain her dating profiles.
Demands?
Yeah. One of them from 2017 was literally titled SWF ad. Like she titled it that. My single white female
in 2017?
ad. Yeah, in 2017. She was referring to herself as single white female. And another one from 2023 where she attended a webinar and with a dating coach. Mm-hmm. And I saw all her detailed notes, and my reply was simply, you did an online dating webinar, and then there was the usual crickets.
So I wondered who that coach was that she was meeting with, because you said it was like she sounded legit.
Yeah, she sounded legit. She's been on like Goop and Forbes and Good Morning America or something.
Goop and Forbes.
Yeah.
Those are the pillars of...
and Good Morning America. It was called Love Amy, I think. Her name was Amy.
Okay. All right.
And I don't have it in front of me, but it was like you signed a 4-month agreement with her, and she helped you do your dating profile and weed through it and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, eHarmony. So that questionnaire on eHarmony is thorough as fuck. I feel like it took me an hour to fill this thing out. So many freaking questions. But when I was using it, at least, there were no photos.
Which I just think is weird.
Which I thought was, like, conceptually, I get it. They want you to, connect emotionally on a friend level first and then meet them and see if there's interaction.
I like that.
But, like, I get it on the one hand, but for me, it just wasn't working because the people that I met there were kind of, like, thirsty and desperate, and I wasn't attracted to them, really that much to start with. Just like, the dudes that I met through eHarmony were just kind of too intense and sort of desperate. And I also remember that the membership was kind of expensive, and so I was like, I don't think this is for me.
Okay.
And this was during the time period where online dating was still sort of seen as like sad and desperate to meet someone online. And to be honest, it kind of was, because the dudes that I met in this era were nice, maybe smart, but they were just thirsty. Mm-hmm. Like I was the last girl on earth and we had to save the human race by procreating or something. So I moved on to the next one. And the next one was Match.com.
Okay.
Which is legit.
Yep.
Was legit then. I don't remember much about it other than it worked and I used it a lot. And there was a monthly membership, and I want to say it was like $40 a month.
Yeah, I think
back in the early aughts.
It's similar to that now, like maybe $49.
Which is a little expensive.
Yep.
But
monthly, yeah.
Yeah, I would get depressed if a month went by that I paid for the service without actually going on any dates. But that was rare because I was cute. Apparently.
So when you went on those dates, were they dates that like the guy paid?
I can't really remember. I think it just kind of depended.
When
like
did
sometimes
that end?
the guy would. I don't know that it ever was a thing for me. Like when I was dating, I would always try to pick up the check or try to at least offer to split it.
Okay.
And sometimes they would let me split it, and sometimes they would be like, no, this is on me or whatever.
Yeah, see,
So it just depended on the guy.
Not to say in my day all the fucking time, but the guy paid. That was just the way it went.
Right.
There was no splitting the check. There was no, you were going out on a date. The guy was going to pay. And then I think at some point it turned more to whoever asked.
A little. So sometimes the rule was, like, depending on how far away I was from this guy, if he was driving to come see me, especially if he was driving like 30 minutes or more, I would pay because I felt like that was more fair because he had to drive. But if I went out there, it was either, like I said, like I would offer to split it or to even pay if it wasn't too expensive. But it depended on the person. Okay. There were some guys that took me on like super expensive dates and wanted to impress me. I was talking about one last night. I was like, the only time I ever had a sushi boat was on a date with some rich guy that wanted to impress me, and he bought the sushi love boat, which is like $50 to start. Yeah. You know, and it was way more sushi than we could eat. And so I was like, okay, but it was cool, you know. But yeah, there was like not really any rules about who's supposed to pay anymore when I started dating. So yeah. So the next one was OkCupid.
Okay. And I had never heard of OkCupid until I read this script.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's free. And the people that I met there were a lot less serious than they were, especially less serious than they were on eHarmony.
Right, because it was free.
But that could be fun because, you know, like I said, they were too serious there. But I was actually looking to get married. Like I was trying to find my person because I was a teacher and I knew I needed a partner just to help me pay the fucking mortgage.
I hear that's called dating with a purpose.
That's how I was dating with a purpose. I was not just like
intentional dating.
Yes. I was not trying to waste anybody's time.
Right.
But because that one was free, I felt like it was kind of packed with yahoos.
Okay.
And I did get catfished one time.
Fun.
From OkCupid.
Fun. Tell me.
So okay. So, and this brings me to another safety rule, friends. Okay. So this guy, first of all, he showed up at my apartment to pick me up, which was probably a bad plan. You should never.
That is on my list upcoming of things not to do.
He came to my apartment to pick me up, and when I opened the door, he was at least 10 years older than he was in the photo that I had seen. And already at that point, I was like, oh, God, this is going to be rough.
So you would have been early 20s?
Yeah.
And he would have been maybe mid-30s?
Probably.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least he looked like it. Like, you know, I didn't ask.
Which is even worse.
Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, he took me to his car and opened the door for me, but then he had to brush off the seat in order for me to sit down because it was covered in a carpet of fast food wrappers and empty crystal hamburger boxes and trash, which he swept into the parking lot of my apartment.
Oh, he did. I thought you meant into the floorboard of the car. He littered?
No, into the street. And I was just like so disgusted. But here's another, so don't get in their car. Don't let them come to your apartment.
No, if
don't
they
get in the
dump
vehicle
all their
with them.
trash into the parking lot, you just say, okay, I've had enough of you. Bye.
I should have. But the other thing is, women have a problem with being too nice and too polite. We are afraid to not be polite because people will call us a bitch or people will call us whatever. And when it comes to your safety, fuck being called a bitch. Call me a bitch all day if it means I don't get murdered.
Yeah, and I have to go back on what I just said. I'm thinking of myself now. If I was 20 and I walked out to some guy's car and he brushed litter into the parking lot, I probably, just like you just said, I probably would have been too afraid to say anything about it.
Yeah. But like we're going to get to in a minute, when your spider sense is tingling, you need to listen.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I was going to go to like sort of a nice Chinese buffet, my favorite little Chinese place in town.
Yeah.
But when we got there, it had just suddenly gone out of business.
Oh, that sucks.
And I was so upset, not only because I loved that place, but because then we had to go to another place that took way longer because we had to wait to sit down and everything. And I was stuck with this dude for longer than necessary.
So more awkward having to
it was
hang
so
out.
awkward. And he could tell that I was disappointed, like, from the get-go. Because he's, like, I tried to be nice, but I do not have a poker face.
Uh-huh.
And so when he swept all that trash out of his car, like, I'm sure I looked so disgusted. And he was like, oh, yeah, this bitch doesn't like me. Like, dude, try a little.
I can't even comprehend. I can't wrap my brain around that.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
Throw it in the back seat.
Even then, I would have been disgusted.
Same, but
if you're going somewhere with the intent of picking someone else up in your car, why would you not at least clean the seat out so they can sit down?
He should have, or listen, I understand maybe he just didn't think of it, but when he pulled into your parking lot, I'm certain that he looked to his right at some point. He would have been like,
one would think,
oh, where am I going to put my date? Who thinks I'm 10 years younger than I am?
Exactly. Yeah. So fuck that guy. All right. So fast forward to the smartphone era. Dating apps had become much more commonplace and socially acceptable to use, but they are not without their issues. So let's talk about the issues.
The issues.
Okay. There are plenty. All right. So, number one problem with online dating apps and sites is the sheer volume of scammers and creeps who are on there. And that seems to be the problem with everything. Scammers and creeps.
Scammers and creeps.
But it's even worse now. And I feel lucky that I escaped the present day problem, which is having to determine whether or not the person you matched with is actually AI. So like, meaning that their picture is AI.
So, okay. So it's not like the person is that, because I was like, how does that work? So people, well, I mean, I see people all the time make their AI picture for LinkedIn. So they're using AI to make themselves look better for real, not just.
Well, and I've seen, there was someone that was like, if you're real, say potato. And the person just would not say potato to prove that they were a real person, but because they were probably a bot, a scammer bot, or a phishing or whatever.
How does that? I don't understand. If you tell AI to say something, they won't say it.
If it's a robot, they won't think to say that. They'll just be like, "How are you?" Whatever. Okay, so this is often how I'm going to send you a YouTube link. Yeah, this is often how conversations go. And this person makes auto-tuned songs out of text conversations.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, I understand that. Is she by the same father? So that was and the song is so catchy. Like, I guarantee you, I will wake up in the middle of the night and go pee and be like, I understand that. Is she by the same father? So yeah, that's what it's like talking to people on dating sites. In the best case, it'll be funny, you know? Right. Anyways, creepers are going to creep, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Creeps are always going to creep. Did you ever watch The Dating Game?
Not really. Just I've seen clips of it.
One of the winners on that show, Rodney Alcala, was an actual serial killer at the time of the airing of that show. He had already killed 4 of his 5 victims when he went on the show. Luckily, the girl that was chosen by him got the ick and backed out. So better get an AI match rather than a serial killer.
Yes, true. I've seen that movie with Anna Kendrick that she wrote. I think she wrote and directed it.
Did not know
about
there was.
this girl.
Yeah, did not know there was a thing.
It's cool. You need to watch it. But yeah, like she almost got by this guy.
Yeah.
And he was super charming, and it was clear from the episode that he was the best of the three guys, and so she picked him. But
he was
kind of
hot. I mean,
he wasn't in the movie, in my opinion. But like in the movie, there was one guy who was like super horny and kind of inappropriate and gross, and was saying like nasty things backstage. And when he didn't get picked and he came out to meet her and say, hi, sorry, you didn't pick me, he whispered in her ear, be careful with that guy. Because he's a creep. He warned her about the guy that won and said he was a creep. And the guy speaking and warning her, was being like gross and filthy. And he warned her.
Nice. Okay.
So I don't know if that really happened, but that's what happened in the movie. Spoiler.
I would believe that it did.
Yeah. Yes.
Because sometimes when people are like creepy, like sexually perverted and stuff like that, like outwardly, they still inwardly don't want you to get murdered.
I mean, yeah, there's a big difference between being horny and being a serial killer. Okay. Yeah. I would prefer an AI match to a serial killer. Thank you very much. I would rather have a chat GPT, a relationship with an AI chatbot.
Absolutely.
Than get serial killed. Yeah. Thank you.
Same.
Right. But so at the time, and this would have been, between like 2008 and 2020 when I met my husband. I was struck by the number of just boring, basic dudes who were posing in their profile picture, holding an aggressively mediocre fish like it was their entire personality. And all the guys who said their favorite show was The Office. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but that's like saying your favorite band is the Beatles.
Right.
Give me something more than that,
something
right?
a little more out of the box.
Something to give me a hint of what your personality is. There's also a ton of guys who pose in front of their toothpaste splattered bathroom mirror, holding their shirt up to show their abs.
There's so much wrong with that. There's so, do you not have eyes? Can you not see when you're posting pictures that have absolute gross or filth behind you?
And
also,
I don't think men can see filth.
Just take your shirt off. If you have abs that are impressive, take your fucking shirt off.
Well, there's those too, but yeah. And I think the worst of all, though, was the ones who I would match with and then they would message me and their opening line would be something insane like, do you suck toes?
Ew.
And that was tame. I'm not going to repeat some of the ones that they said.
Ew.
But they would just open with something absolutely over the top inappropriate. And that's the point where I would say, now that I know there are sites and apps specifically for people in the kink community and stuff.
Right.
I understand if that's your kink and that's what you're specifically looking for and nothing else will do for you, there's a place for you.
Yeah.
And you don't need to just open with a stranger by asking them that. That's not going to...
Do you like to suck toes? That is
right.
Interesting.
How about, hello, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about, how was your day?
Right.
God, bro. So, yeah. Often, I would match with someone, message them, or they would message me, and then the conversation would just fizzle out because they clearly didn't know how to talk to someone, how to flirt, or sometimes even how to spell. So it was just an instant no for me if they couldn't tell the difference between YOU''RE and YOUR, if they don't know the difference between there and there, I just can't.
It makes me giggle because, again, the things that I would have missed out on if I had the standards of the modern gal these days, like spelling. My husband doesn't know the difference between any of those words.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
My husband can tell you
teacher.
What network any TV show from the 80s came on, but he cannot spell any, what are they, contractions? Is that what they are? Is that what they're
Some of them are.
He can't.
Prepositions.
Yeah, I have to know what the context is when there's English, because, the English language, it's got a lot of words that sound the same, but they aren't.
Now I give a lot of grace to someone whose English is not their first language. If that's the case, you're free.
My husband's first language
care.
is English.
Right. Yeah. I did date some guys who were English language learners. And in that case, I was totally fine with there being all kinds of spelling and grammar mistakes. I'm not going to judge anybody that's trying to learn a language. What I'm saying is clearly you were born and raised here and you didn't pass the second grade. Like that's not, I drew the line with that. The modern gal needs you to know how to spell.
I guess so. I don't care if you can spell or not.
But so when the conversation did last and we moved over to texting and then planning to meet in person, then new issues would come up. Like you're still not home free, right? So maybe they met someone else in the meantime between our conversation and our actual date, and then they would ghost me. Maybe they would drive me crazy coming on too strong and I would have to cut them loose. And I really tried not to ghost people, but I'm sure that it happened because this was like a high volume situation. I would be talking to a handful of people at once and just kind of weeding through.
Right. I think everybody is on online dating. I think that's normal.
It's kind of how you have to do, right? So this was like a constant struggle for 15 years of my life, dude. And I'm sure my friends got sick of hearing about it, but some crazy shit happened to me. And I'm going to tell you guys some stories a little later. We might put like some of them in part 1 and some of them in part 2 because we're already over an hour talking.
Okay.
But I had to ask my friends, hey, do you guys remember any of the craziest online dating stories that I told you? And they were like, oh yeah, we do.
Now, were none of them online dating at the same time?
Oh, some of them were. Yeah. A lot of my friends did this, but for whatever reason, I just had I guess because I was so intentional about it, knowing that I wanted to get married. And so I kind of never just gave up. I was always trying to find someone. I think I just met the most people and had the craziest shit. Yeah. Another thing that's a problem. And I think this is a them problem. A lot of dudes lie about their height.
That's so funny to me.
It's like a thing. Because apparently women seem averse to dating guys under 6 feet. Except for Ivy. Ivy likes a short king.
Yep.
That's fine. But apparently there's some thing, like it's the magic number to say that you're 6'4". Because it's like you're tall, but not too tall, I guess.
That's pretty tall.
But that's pretty tall.
Yeah.
So my husband is actually 6'4". And the first thing I said when I met him was, wow, you are tall. And he was like, yeah, I said I was 6'4".
And you were but everybody says they're 6'4".
It's like, yeah, but most people lie. So I was expecting you to be like maybe 6 feet,
Or
so
at least
was like,
poof
what?
up your
Why
hair.
do people lie about that? And it was not his hair. No, it's not of like floofy hair. So he thought that was funny. But I get the idea is with online dating that you weed out the ones who aren't a good match for you right away. But the number of swipe lefts that I had to do just to find one person who might have anything in common with me, let alone someone who might also be attractive and nice, it was staggering. And I'd say 1 in 100 or so might interest me.
Wow.
And I promise, this is not just, I was not looking for someone who belongs on the cover of a romance novel or looks like a model or some shit. I just wanted someone who was smart and funny and kind and who I was attracted to at least a little bit because I understand the attraction grows when you get to know someone, right?
Yeah.
And I do have a specific preferred type, but I was very open to dating guys of all kinds, and I did. I dated guys of all races and backgrounds and body types and heights. I met guys who liked some of the things that I'm into and some who were the total opposite of me and tried new things. And none of it was working, And I think you were asking me about, are you judging them just based on their picture, right? Yes, to an extent, but it's not just are you handsome in the picture, okay? The picture tells me a lot, right? If you're standing there holding a fish, swipe left.
Yes.
Because I'm not into fishing, and if that's the first thing you want to show me, it must be really important to your personality, and I don't think we're going to get along.
Which is a shame because I think also guys are dumb.
Yes, they are. They don't understand.
And I think that if another guy is like, oh, yeah, dude, that's a good picture. You should use that for your profile picture. If it's the only fish that poor kid's ever caught in his whole life. And somebody told him, then, I mean, honestly, you could have missed out on the perfect guy who's never been fishing since then, but who used, like, you don't know. You just don't know.
Because I don't think that they think, and all right, so I only have experience dating men, okay? But straight men and some bisexual men don't understand the image that they're putting forth and how important that is as a first impression, you know? A lot of guys don't know how to take a good picture of themselves. They don't know how to take a selfie.
Right.
They don't know what's flattering on them, you know? And it would be the same problem if a guy was like too handsome or too dressed up, or like it's a photo of him at the gym. If it's a photo of you at the gym, I don't think you're a match for me, because in order to have that beautiful physique that you have to spend a lot of time at the gym. And I don't want to spend a lot of time at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we won't ever see each other because you're always at the gym, dude. You know? And so you learn a lot of things about people based on what photos they choose. Okay. You know, there were a lot of guys too that would have a photo of them with their ex-girlfriend in the picture and just put like an emoji over her face or something.
What?
And I'm like, you couldn't even crop the picture?
What?
Like, yes. It's so lazy and like cringy and embarrassing. Like, yeah. So that's why it takes 100 swipes to find one that was decent. And then after I would find one that was decent, like 1 in 10 of those would turn into a real in-person date.
See,
and of those dates,
that almost
one
makes
in a million.
Me think that I would prefer the no pictures at first. Like maybe if the instead of no pictures at all. Maybe if the first step is finding out about the people and you swipe away from the ones who you like, oh, I love to fish. Okay, I don't want you. And then the next step would be to get to the pictures. So you already know some things about the person. All right, I think we've just invented the perfect dating website. Let's call up Andrew Conru.
There's some like that, I think. I don't think I ever tried them. But, you know, it was not like just a picture. Like, I think Tinder is just picture, name, age.
But it's just one picture on Tinder.
I think at least it was at the time. But like on Bumble and Hinge and other ones, there's several pictures you can kind of scroll through.
Yeah.
And you can scroll up and see a little bit about their bio, you know. But it depends on the app, like how much information they'll let you share just in that front thing.
Yeah.
But there's also ways to sort through, like you can sort by distance and height and body type and ethnicity and things, and religion too, some of them. So you can set your parameters and then like filter it.
Okay.
But even then it was a massive like cattle call.
Yeah.
You know, just exhausting. It almost seems easier to just go to church.
I'd rather go on the dating game and get set up with a serial killer than ever go meet a man at church. Did you ever try Christian Mingle or Farmers Only?
God, no. No. But my mom kept pushing me to go to church and meet a nice man.
Of course.
And I did try. I tried. I even went to a few of those like singles Bible study groups and stuff. And it was totally clear that everyone was just there to meet someone. You know, it was just so silly.
Yeah. Okay.
I hated it. Everybody was fake and it just wasn't for me.
So, on that church note, Katie, let's talk a little bit more about safety and online dating.
Yes, this is extremely important.
So
don't make the same mistakes as me.
Some of the risks you run into when dating online are fraud, like catfishers or persuading you to give them money or gifts. There's the danger of being stalked or cyberstalked, and sexual abuse, which is any form of sexual contact, including asking for or asking to be sent photos that you do not want. That is not mutually consensual, and your personal safety. So here are a few tips we got from Crime Stoppers.
Hell yeah,
All right?
Crime Stoppers.
Crime Stoppers, yeah. So be anonymous at first. Make your username not your real name, or at least leave out your last name and any identifying or stalkable info. Take your time getting to know people. Don't rush into an in-person meeting. Do a little cyber stalking yourself. Not actually, but do some research. Check their socials if you can. Do a web search. I guess this step might come in after getting a full name, but before meeting in person. Money requests of any kind can fuck all the way off. You got it?
I feel like that's
Any kind of money request. That's a goodbye. Meet in a public, well-lit place and tell your friends where you are going, when, and with whom.
Yes.
Look out for super quick declarations of love. These are a sea of red flags, and you should run.
I got a story about that too.
Oh, I think I love you. Nope. Goodbye. Don't be pressured into meeting before you are ready. Have your own transportation. Stay sober enough to make good decisions. Now, this one I think would have also stood for the meeting friends online.
Oh yeah.
It does. I'm not saying don't have a drink. I'm saying don't have too many of anything, because you want to be able to continue to make good, safe decisions.
And if you took your own car, you need to be able to get home. If you took your own Uber, that's, I guess, a little better, but like you still don't want to do or say something that, you don't want your judgment impaired.
Save your address for later. Don't tell them where you live right away. Talk on the phone prior to meeting. Don't just jump from the app to the coffee shop.
See, that's one that I did not do very often, but I probably should have, because it gives a better indication of how are they able to hold a conversation, with me. And sometimes a person's voice,
I was going to say
can tell you a lot about them,
and the way they
as a voice
speak.
actor now. I notice people's voices and the cadence that they speak with and all of that. So yeah, those are all good tips. I made several of those mistakes, as you're going to hear. Gross.
Well, and I think also some of these, like particularly that do a little cyber stalking of your own. They're asking you to stay safe from that, but then they're asking you to do that.
Well, what I think they mean is like, so for instance, Bumble or whatever app, it might have a link to your Instagram where you can put, here's my Instagram. Okay. You can choose if you want to share that. And if they do, go look at it, because that'll give you more photos of them, more of a vibe of their personality, whatever. So if you're choosing to share that publicly, fine. I think that Googling someone, if you know their full name, is totally fine.
100%. I think I recommend that.
Yeah, but getting to the, like, I don't even think Sean ever told me his last name. I just saw it on his driver's license. When he handed it to the hostess at the restaurant, and I was like, what's your name? Oh, that's a good last name. Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, but the way that our relationship developed was very it was just easy. Everything about it was easy, and thank God, because it was fucking COVID. So
yeah, really,
that was hard enough. Hey, listeners. So this episode got really long, as some of our episodes tend to do when we're diving into a big topic. So we are going to put most of my crazy online dating journey stories in the next episode. And thank you for sticking with us. Thank you, Ivy, for listening to me talk for so long. Not only did we have to re-record this episode because of some technical difficulties, but Ivy is sick and she's a boss lady and I love her so much. So thank you for being my friend and tolerating my crazy stories. So thank you guys for listening as well. If you have some crazy online dating stories, I would love to hear them.
Absolutely.
If anyone has ever asked you how many kids you have and if they're all by the same father, even though you only have one child.
And we'd like to share them also next week when we also share a few options for online dating.
Options. That's what it's all about. And raise your standards. Don't just accept what you're given and feel like that's what you're worth.
Absolutely.
Is the main lesson.
Yeah, don't put up with trash in the parking lot or dog shit all over a guy's house.
Absolutely
Guys, that goes for you too, because girls can be gross too.
Girls can be nasty. I mean, I'm only talking about this from my perspective as a woman who only dates men.
Yep.
But
be fun if we could get some perspective from some dudes.
Yeah, for sure. I know that it is at least as crazy in the gay community because my friends have told me some stories too.
Oh, yeah.
If you got a story or a comment or you want to share anything with us, what can the listeners do, Ivy?
They can email us, Katie, at contact@toxicwasteoftime.com, or they can go to our socials, which are just both Facebook and Instagram, Toxic Waste of Time. Hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up. We got an email this week from a listener that found me from an audiobook I did and then found our podcast. And thank you so much for listening. That made me happy this week.
Me too.
Just to hear from someone that said, hey, I enjoy it. I'm listening.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, she didn't have a question or anything necessarily, but she just wanted to say hi. And we really appreciated that. So
absolutely. And it came at a good time because this is not the first time we've recorded this episode, because we recorded this episode last week and my computer ate it. So we had to start over, and I'm sure you could tell by the sound of my voice that in the meantime, I caught a cold.
Yeah, Ivy is a trooper today because we are recording a kind of a long session, and she is powering through with her deeper, even sexier voice than usual. So you're welcome, listeners. We work hard for you. So thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time with part 2.
Bye.
Bye.